Hey K-popers of Reddit, did you experience a bias shift when you attended your favorite K-pop group live in concert? I'm not sure if this counts because I didn't actually see them in concert, but I watched the aespa concert movie over the weekend. Before I went in, I biased Karina, but now I bias Winter because there's something about her voice that I really love. 100%, I've been a follower / fan of Purple Kiss for a while and my bias always leaned towards Chain, but once I saw and interacted with Dosi in person I realized she's the love of my life, so the switch had to be made.
My bias and bias line has shifted every time I go to a concert, lol. BTS, OT7 to Jin Eunha, the first time, Jake to Jake, Nicki, Heesung second time, Jake to Jay and Jake TXT, Taehyun and Kai to Taehyun, Kai, Yeonjun NCT 127, Mark and Johnny to Jaehyun.
ENHYPEN, from Heesung to Jake. Both are my bias now.
Stacy at KCON, went in as a Yoon bias and Issa bias wrecker and left as a Yoon bias and Seon bias wrecker.
I saw IVE live as well, and Yujin really put herself high in my bias list. Her charisma and stage presence were so incredible, I was literally shook. Woman, like me, killed me. So, yeah, it was just mainly Wonyoung, but now Yujin as well.
I went to a GOT7 concert with Jin Young as my bias. I got wrecked by his amazing visuals, but towards the end I got so endeared by JB and how the members fondly teased him all throughout the show. Not to mention his oozing appeal. Now JB is my ultimate bias out of all my K-pop biases. I'm a multi.
Seeing Namjoon live only solidified him as my ult. However, seeing Hobie live then Suga on his own tour solidified me as an overall rapline bias with a Namjoon ult.
Nope. I know plenty of people this has happened to, but I tend to stick to my bias for life lol. I've been with Lay/EXO for over 8 years now, for example. I've walked away with an additional wrecker on a few occasions, but I've never changed my bias. I think maybe because I bias solely on personality. Not stage presence, visuals, being more talented in one area than the other members, etc. I pick my bias solely on who I vibe with most, at least the persona they choose to show us, people choose biases for a myriad of reasons, and none of them are wrong. But when I see NCT Dream later this year, I already know I won't walk away biasing anyone other than Shinla. No one else is going to give me that atrocious dolphin laugh.
Well, kinda, more like bias wrecked but not shift. I went to Twice in Vegas and I gotta say that Jihyo was amazing live. I always knew that Jihyo had powerful vocals, but seeing it live was a whole different experience. My biases in Twice are Chongyun and Chaeyoung.
Yes, when I went to the ENHYPEN concert my bias at first was NIKE, but Heesung just ended up stealing my heart away. Still love NIKE.
I was a hardcore Seohyun bias zone, then I saw them in concert and Hyoyeon just won me over. Like I love Seohyun still, but Hyoyeon figuratively grabbed me and said, "You are mine now, who am I to say no?"
My first time seeing Blackpink in 2019. My bias was Jennie up until then, but Jisoo in real life was just so utterly ethereal she completely blew me away.
Yes, but they weren't a favorite at the time. It was when I saw ATEEZ the first time. Went in San-biased, came out married to Mingi.
I listened casually to iKON, and then got more interested after seeing June in a K-drama, so I went to their concert with him as my bias, and I came out of it completely obsessed with Bobby. I love his voice and style and his solo music. Especially the more sentimental songs are like exactly what I want in music.
I saw Only One of a week ago and went in with my bias as 9, but left with Junji as my bias wrecker. I was just so impressed by his live vocals and energy, it was truly so special. I admire all of them, of course. Of Junji just really blew me away.
Oh, I saw IVE too, and Yujin was my bias, but OMG Ray, I love her now. What a cutie.
Great question. Sadly for me, the closest I've gotten to attending a K-pop group concert is seeing Pentagon during a festival, and only like half the members were there. My bias did not change as a result.
Before I saw ATEEZ in concert, Hongjoong was my bias, but once I was there I could not take my eyes off Yoonho and Jongho. Something about them was absolutely magnetic in person.
In Aug 2023, I went to Irving, Texas show to see aespa very much with Karina, and Winter interchangeable as tops. But Ningning was like a fireball on stage, and I'm not sure without the live I would have appreciated her energy the same way.
Not a complete shift, but I saw Yoongi live in the Permission to Dance concert in 2021, and he shot up a ton on my bias list.
Ah, the concert swerve. I've seen and heard of this phenomenon, but did not actually experience it myself. I saw BTS and NCT several years ago. My eyes always seemed to go right to my biases on stage, even when I was trying to watch and enjoy everyone, LOL. A couple days ago, I was at ITZY's concert. Ryujin was my bias, but now it's Yeji. She was absolutely incredible and impressed me so much.
I'd say Wrecker Shift. My bias held, although she was definitely challenged. I went to a Dreamcatcher concert as a Handong bias and Yuhyun Wrecker. By the end, I was enamored with Ju to the point that I almost flipped bias.
Saw Twice in Vegas and have always loved Jihyo and Momo. But Dayoon was absolutely amazing and became my trio bias with Jihyo and Momo.
I've considered Dayoon to be my bias since I first discovered Twice. So naturally, when I got the chance to see them live, I assumed my eyes would be drawn towards her. They were for the first part, but after Sana's solo stage, my eyes had other ideas. I blame my stupid monkey brain. Sana do sexy dance, me look at only Sana now. She absolutely bias wrecked me that day. Oh, and another one. When I went to see Pixie, my bias was Dia, but I found myself watching Dajong more. At the high touch, I said hi to Dia like it was nothing, but when I came to Dajong, my voice cracked and I was a wreck. She said, "Love you," as I gave her a high five and I nearly fucking died.
Yes. I biased Yeonjun since TXT's debut. I saw them perform at KCON during their rookie days and nothing changed. But when I saw them on tour again in 2022, I shifted to biasing Byungju.
I experienced a bias return. My bias in Pixie was Dia, but before the concert it was shifting to Rinji. But Dia was so charismatic at the concert I genuinely couldn't take my eyes off her the whole show, and after that she returned as my bias.
Went to my second Stray Kids concert in 2022 but had Barricade and Soundcheck for the first time. I went in Lee No biased, left Lee No and Seungmin biased. All 8 of them were amazing, but Seungmin was something else in terms of vocals and stage presence. Just made me realize how much I adore him, haha.
Forgot to mention that the way Seungmin interacts with fans is adorable. He really lives up to his puppy persona.
Yes, I was a Jongho stan before their Canada show back in 2022. After that concert it was Yosang. Last year, I had Dojun as my bias in the Rose. After their Canada show it was Jaehyung.
Rose was my first bias in Blackpink, then it shifted to Jisoo. But after watching them live I really felt my loyalty wane because Rose was so on fire and amazing. Not so much a bias shift as more like appreciation for Yeji. I first saw them when ITZY were still rookies and so I was still figuring out my bias. It has always been Yuna, but after watching them live and interacting with them, Yeji really grew on me. She was so sweet yet charismatic and I could tell that she always gave her all and I really respected and appreciated her for that.
When I saw Twice, I went as a Jihyo bias, but when I left Chonghyun was added to my bias line. She is an absolutely electric performer, hilarious, and she seems to really enjoy being on stage with her members.
Not RLE the same, but I saw Twice in Tacoma last year, and unfortunately Dayoon and Jonghyun were sick, so they weren't there. I found out the day before and was like, well, at least it isn't any of my biases. But then afterwards, seeing clips from other concerts where Dayoon and Jai were there, I felt so sad I missed out on seeing them. Their interactions were so fun and cute. I am definitely going to see Twice again, so I hope they're all there next time.
I miss them in Tacoma too, and Dayoon is my ult. Fortunately, I got to see them in Las Vegas, and it's incredible the energy Dayoon and JY brings. I was shocked by how fun JY was at the concert.
Yes. In Giddle, I didn't have clear bias. All members are amazing, but kinda paid special attention for Shuhwa. But after seeing them live, I absolutely felt in love with Miyeon. With her charm, her attitude, her communication with audience. She is totally amazing.
Not bias shift, but I was able to appreciate the other members of Twice and made them love more. I was a Sana bias, but then when I saw the Mina, Suyu, Chayoung, Dahyun, I fell in love with them more.
Yeah, I was a Jimin stan back in 2018 when I attended the Love Yourself concert,
and Namjoon kept coming to my side of the crowd, so I just happened to see him more than the other members. And hoo boy, that man is fine, and his charisma is amazing.
RM is captivating on stage. Cameras do not do him justice. His skin and smile and body proportions are crazy IRL. Anyone who claims he's the ugliest idol they've seen in person, like the teenage edgelord below, hasn't actually seen him in person, and probably isn't attracted to men.
Yes, but it was my bias wrecker who changed. After seeing BTS live, I really fell in love with Jungkook. I finally understood what people were talking about. He's such a hard worker. We were 3 hours into the show and all the guys were clearly tired. TBH, I was tired just holding an army bomb for that long. IDK, how they managed to even stay upright after dancing for that long. But there was Jungkook, running up and down the stage and hyping people up. It was honestly one of the most impressive things I've ever seen at a K-pop concert, and I've been to more than 20.
I wish I could have seen energetic Jungkook when I saw them live, but he was injured and had to stay seated, which I understand. But still.
Definitely. Mine is also an IV story. Before concert, my bias was Yoojin. After concert, it was Yoojin, Wonyoung, and Liz.
I'd always preferred Chaeryeong's voice in ITZY, but seeing her live solidified her as a bias for me. She was so sweet and her energy was amazing.
My bias will always be Yeji, but I adore Chaeryeong so much. I am loving all the people that have her as their bias. She deserves it.
I went through the exact same Yeji, Chaeryeong pipeline when I saw ITZY's concert last week, though. I'll say it might change again, as they are all insane performers.
Wasn't from a concert, but before following ITZY, I only knew Yeji. And I liked her because she was pretty, but after following ITZY, it's Chaeryeong. I got converted from that drinking episode with Youngji. Chaeryeong's so pretty, it's ridiculous. One of the best 4th-gen dancers, too.
Yes, I love Swan so much. I was front row in Detroit, and wow, she's amazing.
Yes, ITZY. Yeji to Chaeryeong, Purple Kiss, Dozy to Swan.
I went through the exact same Yeji to Chaeryeong pipeline when I saw ITZY's concert last week, though. I'll say it might change again, as they are all insane performers.
Wasn't from a concert, but before following ITZY, I only knew Yeji, and I liked her cause she was pretty. But after following ITZY, it's Chaeryeong. I got converted from that drinking episode with Youngji. Chaeryeong's so pretty, it's ridiculous. One of the best 4th-gen dancers too.